Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ESL UK Premiership Playoffs. My name is Munchables, and joining me once more is Dan Gaskin, and we're ready to head into the action for the second game in this series. And it's been a lot closer of a series than I think a lot of people were expecting. I mean, going in, a lot of people were saying Reason were a favourite. I know the kind of Twitter analysts were sort of airing towards Reason, but definitely Infused had the advantage in that one, and it felt like it felt very convincing from Infused until kind of towards the second half of kind of the game. They just didn't seem to be able to finish things off.
I think if Infused were able to get one of those, they won the pistol, but they just couldn't win any of those follow-up rounds, and we just saw it go back and forth between Reason and Infused. If Infused were just able to grab one of those, then it could have looked like an absolute domination.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Infused for so long were just one single point away from just taking that map, and as you say, like, had they just got it earlier, we wouldn't even be discussing the fact that it was a close game. You know, it was very much a last-minute comeback from Reason. But we'll see as the knife round begins. Unfortunately, got whisperings in my ear right now, as the voices in my head still talking to me. But we are going to be going into the knife, and it looks like Infused are going to be able to decide which side of the map they want to kick off on here. I wouldn't be all too surprised to see a CT
Go on,
start.
ask me. Which side do I think it is?
Which side do you reckon
I think it's CT-sided, Joe. I love Mirage.
You don't think it's T-sided?
I don't think
after last map.
No, I don't think it's T-sided. I think Infused will obviously stick for CT. That's what you will see the majority of the time. But you never know. Maybe they want to go ham.
I mean, I think there is something to be said for starting T-side to just, you can set the pace of the game, and if you're very, very confident in your T-side on Mirage, then sure, go for it. But generally speaking, Mirage is a fairly CT-sided map. There's quick rotations. There's a lot of kind of routes to go for retakes with. And it's not really the same as like your Caches, like your Dust 2s, where it doesn't matter so much. So we'll see how this one is going to pan out as the warm-up continues, and I think these players are just about ready to get underway. All of the players are sat at their PCs, so we should be able to begin this second game. And this one, I've definitely got my eyes on Reason for this match, because Reason, towards the end of Cobblestone, they pulled it together, and they were looking really crisp for a few rounds. I think they got like 6 or 7 rounds in a row while Infused were on match point, and actually, towards the end of the game, they were starting to give Infused a real run for their money. However, the first half of the map, it was like they weren't even playing. It was like, I don't even know what was going on in their minds, because they just couldn't seem to get it together.
Yeah, they need to be careful, and they really need to win this first pistol, because it could happen again. Infused could just kind of snowball out of control whilst on CT side, and Reason might start to panic, and their T side pushes might just go completely out the window. What they've practiced, what they've rehearsed, what they're used to doing. They might start to doubt themselves when they kind of get into that position where nothing seems to be working. But it's in those kind of situations where you've been pushing a certain site numerous times, you've been trying everything, you really just need to stay calm and relaxed and just take a look at what you do, maybe even just take a pause, talk about where you're going to push, and really just decide at what you're going to do. Because a lot of the times on Mirage, you see teams faking back and forth, not really sure about what site they want to push, and then they will allow a team to kind of get in a nice stack of a site, because they have kind of suss out where you're going from footsteps and from aggressive defensive positions. That sounds really weird to say, but you know what I mean. And if you can kind of push up into apps, especially from B site, and you can get a little bit of information, you can really control this map as CT.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if that is going to be the case here in this match. But let's remember as well that they are going to be playing here for their spot in the grand final up against the Working Men, who, didn't really have as easy of a time in the semi-final as they were hoping to have. It definitely felt like it was a lot closer between them and UE than the statistics and the seeding and just about everything would kind of suggest. So, and I feel like that's a similar situation that we're in right now with this second semi-final. On paper, maybe it feels like Reason should be the favorite, to be quite honest. They were a higher seed, and they've got a couple of players that really, you expect to just dominate the game, like Weber, for example. And on Mirage, Weber always looks fantastic. So we'll see whether that is going to be the case for them here as we're going to be jumping into this game. I think maybe one of the players having a issue or something. I'm not 100% sure why the game's not begun just yet, but fingers crossed, everything will be kicking off in just a moment.
What Infused did really well last game was that they took Weber out of the game when Weber was on CT side, so if they can find that situation again, if they can work out which kind of site he's holding, and start pushing the other way and make him question where he should be, because he actually switched sites last game because he was just having no luck. He wasn't seeing anyone. He was in a 1v5 or 1v4 situation so many times. Clearly one of the stronger players in the squad, and I think Infused have purposely targeted him in that kind of situation. So it's whether they'll be able to do that again, but Infused are on CT first, so it's not really like they can know where Weber is going to be pushing when he's on the T side. So something special is going to have to come out from Reason on T side. Pistol is obviously, as always, going to be very important, and I'm going to say it, I think whoever wins the pistol here is going to win the game.
Strong statement.
Bold
right
call from the man who said the last map was CT side.
Yeah. But we'll have to wait and see what is going to come out in this one, and I believe it's one of the Infused players just having a couple of issues, so they're going to be reconnecting to the server shortly. Fingers crossed, and we'll be able to get this game underway, but the admins are swarming, going to be ready to fix any issues that he is going to be having. So we should be able to get this game underway shortly, but definitely this matchup not quite going the way that maybe a lot of people thought it would be going, and at this point, you've got to wonder about the mindsets of these players right now. You know, Infused, yes, they did win the first game, but it was difficult. It wasn't exactly an easy win, and it should have been an easy win. You know, they very quickly got a very huge lead, and they just couldn't quite close it out. And I think that actually, in the long term, will probably have a very negative effect in terms of the mindset. You know, yes, they did finish the game, but it took so long. And when they start to get towards the end of this game, is that going to be kind of chewing at the back of their minds?
I think perhaps they just had so much time to play with that they didn't really pull out all the stops like they would if it was in a tighter situation. When it came down to it, that's when they really pulled it off. So I still think it was a convincing enough win for Infused for them to be confident going into this game. But after watching our first semi-final where the working men came back from a 1-0 deficit to United Estonia, Reason Gaming will be thinking, well, why can't we do the same? If we are the supposed favourites, as the Twitter fanatics are saying, then let's overcome this. This is our map. It's the map they've chosen, so they're going to be confident in themselves on Mirage. And then the decider is Cash, and another one of these maps where really you're going to be looking at your star players, your guys who are really your aim stars. Like you're going to be expecting Weber to really go off on a map like Cash, but they need to get there first. They need to get through this Mirage map.
And the question as well is, if they don't win this game, how are Infused going to get second place? They've got to get to the final to keep up that record of second place in the... I mean, realistically, they're definitely not searching for second place right now. I'm sure they'd pick it over third, but at the same time, if they make it to that final, they are going to be playing their socks off.
But I mean, speaking of second place, both of these teams did lose to Working Men in the regular season, so Working Men will be sat here, they should be analysing, they should be thinking about what maps they're going to be vetoing and studying where these teams are pushing on these maps and where they're kind of holding and try and target certain players, try and cancel them out of the game, as I really think that is an important factor sometimes, as we saw in the previous game where Weber was just completely left alone at A site and he had to actually force himself onto B site to have any kind of inclusion into the game. And actually, Weber's rotations were fantastic last game, so on a map like Mirage where rotations are a lot quicker, he will definitely be more confident in his kind of ability when he is on CT side.
That's going to be the question, isn't it? Like, how well are these guys going to perform? How are we going to be seeing them doing in this map? Mirage, but fingers crossed, we should be able to get things underway.
But while we are waiting, if you were playing, Joe, what's your favourite site to hold?
Personally, I like A site. Just sitting on Olafmeister, just on that boost, you know, right outside CT. Just kind of popping heads with the scout. That's my jam right there.
And you do have players that prefer different sites just because of certain play styles. Like you'll want a decent rifler at B site as well, just to be able to hold that app push. Because I mean, how many times do you see a 5-man quick eco stack just running through apps and a player with an M4 on the other side just spraying down and getting a 5k or something like that? So I'd be expecting maybe someone like Red Snake or maybe even Lumgy holding B site, but you never know. These players swip and swap depending on what they're feeling, how hot and cold they are. So you never really know. I like to hold B site. I just think B site's generally more fun to play. But I guess when you are...
Each to their own.
Yeah, it is each to your own.
But we'll have to wait and see which players are going to go where. And obviously as well, that's something that can be changed up, because we saw in the last map, you know, Weber was going to A site repeatedly, and it was kind of, he wasn't really able to get into the game because of that. And then we saw Tactical Pause came through and they decided, you know, let's change this up. Weber, going to send you over to the B site. We're going to change things around and look to, you know, change the default at that point so that we can kind of throw the enemy team for a loop.
I think that call came too late. I think that call should have come a lot earlier, and the experience of Weber should probably have noticed that and said, look guys, it's not working, let's move me. But they were something like 12-2 down before that situation even arose, so I really...
Which, you know, when you think about it, the fact that it was 12-2, 12-3 at any point, and then the final score was like 16-13, that says dividends about that game, doesn't it? It was like whoever got the T-side just steamrolled for quite a long time, and Infused had a little bit more of a convincing CT side, obviously, did manage to slowly but surely eke those rounds out, but it wasn't exactly, you know, easy going for either of the teams.
I think it would have been very different if Infused had lost that pistol as well when they were on CT side. Yeah. Reason could have done exactly what Infused did on the other side and just rolled out. Yeah, just rolled out 12 rounds in a row to make it a comeback and maybe force overtime or even win the game. But the pistol was very important and it was very back and forth. They were both counter-buying each other and no one really got a full buy until we were something like 6 rounds into the CT side for Infused. But eventually they did pick up the win, and now we're into map 2 here, guys, which is going to be Mirage. Personally, I'm looking towards Reason to make a kind of statement here. They've chosen this map. They're going to want to come back into this series. They're not going to want to go down 2-0, because then going into that third, fourth playoff, place playoff match, you're not going to be particularly confident, and you want to win at least one game in these kind of 4-man tournament, 4-team tournaments kind of things. So. Yeah, they're definitely going to want to do something special here.
Yeah, that's going to be one big thing that's weighing on these players' minds as well. Is Reason Gaming, they're one map away if they lose to heading into that third and fourth place game. And that will be a best of one, but it will also be following this series. So it's not necessarily a matter of, you know, we can just finish this game, have a break, chill out, you know, work out what's going to go on for the final. No, if you lose this one, you don't have much of a break. It's as long of a break as basically the other team needs to get onto stage. So there's not going to be that much of a breather for whoever loses out on this game. They're going to be jumping straight into that third place match. We'll see who that is going to be. Right now, it looks like it might be Reason, but let's remember we're only one map into this series, and Reason certainly look like they've picked up their game towards the end of that first map on Cobblestone. And I'm definitely looking at the players like Connor, like Batham, like Weber. There's some seriously good stuff coming out from these players, and if they can just keep it consistent, keep on making these plays, then they certainly are in with a shot of taking this one. But I believe we're just about done with the delays. I think it's an issue with comms going on, issue with earphones and things, so just getting all of that sorted, make sure the players are ready and raring to go before we kick off with the match.
I think if Reason can do what they were doing last game, where they kind of switched up and they kept changing their mind. Occasionally they'd be very aggressive with their pushes as T-side, and then they would just slow it down, and they were trying to be as unpredictable as possible. If they could do this on Mirage as well, I think they're in for a good game ahead of them. I'd like to see some aggressive B pushes when they are in ecos, and perhaps even in the pistol round as well, just to try and catch Team Infused off guard. But Infused they would have played these guys a lot. They would have done their research. They're going to know what their preference is, and especially in pistol rounds. So it sometimes just becomes a mind game on these pistols of which site they're kind of going to push.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Infused must be feeling fairly comfortable at this point in the game. In fact, the game is finally going to be beginning. But I mean, Infused right now, let's remember that they've had second every season so far, and they're looking to try and finally pick up that trophy. So I think right now, Infused are kind of trying to look towards the future. Obviously, they have to take this game as it comes, but I don't think their biggest enemy right now is Reason. I think once they should be confident going into this map. They should be like, okay, we are the favorite here. We're going to get first this time. Let's just get this game out of the way and get going into the finals. But Reason is certainly not going to just allow that to happen. But here we go. The match has begun as we're in the eyes of Kita, just staring into the smoke. But it's going to be Reason opening things up, traded straight back, and it's going to be 4 versus 4. Looks like B site is going to be the call as the bomb is down. Connor starting things off, and the CT's coming in for the retake.
Yeah, I like the smoke and the push from Keto, just kind of as a distraction as the rest of the team dropped into B side. Jenko is going to push in, but he'll be taken down by Bayfam. Great defense from him. Roma will push from short, trying to catch out anyone. Bayfam gets another kill on Lumji. Keto will jump out for the defense as well. Will pick up the double. Fantastic early round from Reason Gaming. It's exactly what they needed. They needed that pistol round to get some rounds on the board. I really like the kind of fake when they threw that smoke mid, one person kind of distracted as the team all dropped onto B site. There was no one really to stop them.
Yeah, and good start for Reason as well, able to get that first round on the board. And they should be able to snowball that a little bit here. The scout in the hands of Roma will be a little bit of an issue, with Dream with the Deagle as well. But realistically, this should be a fairly simple round for them to get on the board.
Neither of these teams make anything fairly simple from what I've judged after pistol rounds from the last game. A lot of counter buys, a lot of anti-ecos came into play, and it seemed like both teams are very good at kind of these anti-eco buys. But we will see 3 AKs in the hand of Reason Gaming, which will be very effective, just the 2 SMGs. Now, they are looking like they are going to move towards A site, but there are a few members of Infused just waiting with 5-7s. As Jenko is taken down, and now they will push into this A site, and all to defend them is only Lumji as he is getting sprayed through the box. Someone is in that sneaky spot there. I wonder if he will be seen, or whether he might be able to just stop this plant here. Nice use of the sneaky spot. Beautiful. He's just trying to get another kill on with the Deagle, but he's going to be taken down as well. And actually, there's some members of Infused still over at B site, so they might even choose to save here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just want to hold on to that scout. I think Dream going to be very happy with that little kill, especially considering he was on about 10 HP when he went for that. Managed just to pop the head of Keita. That is going to mean that it's another round on the scoreboard here for Reason Gaming. But nobody really going to go hunting or anything at this early stage either. They don't really know where these CTs are going to be, so they can't really commit to anything. And they will be able to get away with the... Importantly, Red Snake getting away with that Kevlar and the helmet, which next round could be crucial, especially if we still see the MAC-10 in the hands of Reason moving forwards. But Roma as well with the scout. That could be huge pushing forward, especially on the CT side. That scout can make a big difference because, you know, the M4s, they don't one-shot headshot, so getting that tag early on means that you're kind of at a level pegging up against the AKs.
Well, I mean, and if you're good with a sniper as well, you can just get those headshots. It's still an instant kill, and I mean, I like to see players who are confident with it, taking it and pushing mid and just using it as if it were an AWP. I mean, the amount of times you see players hitting headshots with AWPs anyway, so why not just take the scout? We will see the 3 members pushing towards A from Infused, just holding that site. One member's just going to kind of watch Connector as well, as the last 2 will be at B. At the moment, Reason haven't really decided where they want to go. They are just sitting in middle with the bomb. Just with the other 2 players trying to suss out any information they can before they make any sort of decision here, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's fully what I would expect in this scenario. I mean, obviously, you know that you have the advantage. You know it's round 3, so they're not going to be buying anything realistically, but you also know that they have that scout. They have a 5-7 in the hands of Red Snake, and he's armored up, so they know that if they just mess about in this round, do something stupid, Team Infused will be more than happy to punish them for it.
And the early rotation is going to come out as well of Infused. They've obviously just decided that they're going to be pushing A site, and they've left this B site completely free, so actually Reason could drop in. Does look like they're going to rotate back round now. Roma with the scout in hand, trying to see if he can pick anyone pushing through apps. As the push finally does happen a little bit too late, perhaps. Red Snake will have the 5-7 in hand. We've seen him do so well with it before. He does take down Connor. If he can pick up this AK, he might be able to do some damage. But he's just putting as many shots as he can. As Keita also picks up a kill. Both of them as well. And Reason is just some fantastic kills coming out of these terrorist players. But we're in a 3v2 situation. 3v1 now. And Roma has all of it to do with that scout, which we said is very crucial to have, but I'm not sure he is going to be able to do anything.
I mean, Red Snake did such a good job there, not only getting that first kill, but also tagging out multiple members. It was a very, very good effort, but unfortunately wasn't quite able to land those headshots and did end up going down. The rest of the team couldn't really do too much up against those armored opponents with just those pistols. But now it's going to be the rifle buys, finally. The first round of the game where we see the full buys against each other, but it's not the most convincing buy for Team Infused. Very little utility to work with, and also a couple of Famuses in the hands of Jenko and Red Snake. But we'll see if they can use those to land those headshots to get a couple of nice early kills in this round. But certainly, Keita with the AWP again. They keep on swapping who AWPs, and maybe that's kind of map dependent at this stage, because Keita looking to be the AWPer here on Mirage.
Yeah, Keita had the AWP occasionally on Cobblestone as well, but he wasn't hitting many shots. I think that maybe that's why Weber just said, look, give me the AWP. If you're not confident with it right now, I'll take it for a little bit. But Keita was the man that we looked to. He said he needed to step up. They're 3-0 up after winning the pistol. This is a very big round. Unfortunately, Infused couldn't fall by because they did decide to buy a couple of those 5-7s in the last round. But FAMAS is a more than capable weapon of taking down, as it does look like now Reason are going to move towards A site. If Dream will get the first pick, Connor will respond onto Lumji as well, as there is a player on Tetris taken down by Jenko. We're in a 3v3 situation. Jenko doing fantastic work there with the FAMAS, getting the 3k. Just Weber remains. He's on 2 HP. The Molotov might just do it. No, he's just going to be ahead of it. And now it's just a formality, I think, for Infused. They just need to work together, hold their angles. They've got control of the bomb, and it's going to be very difficult for Weber to make anything of this situation.
Yeah, not a whole lot Weber's going to be able to do for this one. On just 2 HP, does have the AK, but I don't think he's really going to be trying, maybe just looking to steal that AWP and take that away. In fact, he's going to push onto the site. But that's what happens when you push onto a site with just 2 HP. He is going to just get taken out by Jenko, and obviously, just take a look at this 3k from Jenko, just wiping them out. Nice, easy shots coming out from him. Simple, simple work, but it gets the job done and gets around onto the board for Team Infused. They're now back into this game, and as this next round begins, it's actually Infused with an advantage in terms of economy.
I just think it's funny that we were saying, like, it's not that heavy a buy because they have the FAMASes, and then he just pulls that off. Absolutely fantastic use of the FAMAS there, and clearly well practiced. His spray was just perfect, picking off each member of Reason Gaming. And now, Reason do have 4 AKs. Keita is unfortunately just left with a Tech 9, but Tech 9 can do more than enough damage if you are pushing with the team. You can definitely catch them off, as Reason are just kind of pushing up mid here.
Certainly are. It's going to be Red Snake with the FAMAS. He's found one player, can't land the shots. I don't know why. I mean, I think he was looking for someone to peek down below. Wasn't expecting them to come up the ladder, but Connor trading out there with Roma as Batham goes down as well, and Weber finds one of his own. And now there's just 2 CTs remaining. Dream on the site with this AWP. If he can connect the shots, then he can kind of even things up a little bit more, but it's going to be very difficult for them. He knows that the bomb is down and Jenko is going to be nearby. But I'm not sure that they really want to commit to this one. And Infused, despite winning the last round, they have to just say, you know, we're going to go back to the drawing board, just kind of reset things, make sure we don't lose grip of this AWP, because that's a big investment this early in the game. We don't want Reason to get that, and we want to maybe just look for some exit frags, try and dent the economy if we can, but all in all, hold on to our own weapons.
Seems to be far too easy for Reason to get onto B site right now, so I'd be expecting Infused to make some sort of decision to see if they can switch things up at B, just because their hold doesn't seem to be very strong whatsoever, and maybe they're just holding too passively here, but they will have to probably force around this M4 and AWP here. Perhaps they're just going to take pistols, actually. Yeah, that's P250 will come into play.
Yeah, P250, pretty standard eco buy, really. It's one of those where it costs so little, but Weber finds one straight away at the start of the round. Dream does end up going down, which very, very unfortunate for Infused, really, in that scenario. You don't want to be losing those long-range fights against the AK.
Well, I mean, he clearly just decided, right, I'm going to take an aggressive approach with this AWP, and he was just caught with his pants down. It was a very bold decision that just didn't go his way, as Keita will take down Red Snake. Weber follows up with a kill on Lumji as well, and they have full control of this A site. They just need to be careful of these CTs just kind of hovering around. There's one in jungle, but the Molotov will come out just to delay him a little bit, and that is Jenko. Jenko is the player they need to watch out for because he does have that M4. He manages to pick up a kill on Keita. But in a 4v1 situation, he probably needs to back off and try and save this M4 yet again, because there will be money on his side of the team to buy around him now.
Yeah, it looks like an expensive M4 as well, but he is going to be able to use that some effect. Does take out Reason, but trade is straight back, and that's kind of the beauty of having that number advantage. You can just go for those trades, make sure that you win out, and when you're winning these rounds on the bounce like this, you are going to be able to easily afford the rebuys. Keita, I'm sure, has a weapon just laying on the ground waiting for him to pick it up. Won't be too surprised to see the AWP, yeah, is going to come out.
Another force buy.
Yeah, no, another force buy coming out from Infused. I can't say I'm that surprised. This is kind of the style of CS that we've been watching across the course of today. The FAMASes have been very effective And it's all about those headshots from Keita. I'm curious to see how well he does with this. Oh, what was that from Weber up at the top of mid? Even though they've got an AWP, just send Weber mid anyway. Use that AK. He's pretty much better than an AWP at this stage.
This is what we've been expecting from Weber, right? He didn't really show up last game. He didn't get the chance to, but now on T side, he's really got fun to play with on this map. As Infused have kind of been stuck at A site now as Reason are pushing in. The smokes are there, the bomb is also down. And then once again, a 4v1 situation where Infused are just going to have to try and save another M4, but Red Snake might get caught out from Connector. We'll use the flash as a defensive option here and just sit in this ladder room, but they're going to know where he is. They may even consider hunting him down. Spatham does get the kill, and even after bossing up Infused now, well, this is not looking great for them. Perhaps this is what they were doing to Reason in the last map.
Yeah, absolutely. It's heading into round 8, certainly not looking great for Infused, but man, I said, Weber, when it comes to Mirage, is an absolute monster, and he is proving it right now. On double anyone else's score, the only one getting close to him is Jenko on that 6 scoreline, but he is 10 for 2 right now, and Weber's not even the one AWPing. He's just got a rifle, generally speaking, allowing Keita to step back into that AWP position, allowing Keita back into his comfort zone more than anything.
And on the other side, Lumji actually 007 right now, James Bonding, when he's been performing so well for his team. Reason are going to push onto this B site as they have done all game. Red Snake gets a very important kill. Actually, it gets the double as Roma will also take down both of them. So they were able to finally stop this B push. Reason is the last man. He does have the bomb. He's got a smoke to play with, so he might be able to just smoke off and run here.
Yeah.
But I mean, in a 1v5 situation, where do you want to push? Exactly. I mean, B site's not great to push through in this kind of position.
I think it's fine to just push anyway. Like they've got a bit of cash to work with, I believe. Yeah, well, plenty of cash to work with. So it was not the end of the world if he does end up losing this AK for himself. But also just maybe looking to pad his score a little bit as he is down at the bottom of his team's scoreboard right now. But I mean, this round, Infused basically just said, what eco round? I don't see an eco round. Just annihilated the lineup of Reason. Reason does manage to find one kill for himself, but he is going to get shut down by Dream in the end, traded straight back by that AK, and it's going to be important to see. I just look at Roman taking them apart right now, gets that first kill immediately, and Red Snake with a very, very nice position on short.
Well, I mean, Roma didn't actually even get that kill. He just tagged him a few times and Red Snake finished it off with the AK. It was fantastic positioning from him. It's what he did in the last game on Cobblestone. His CT holds were fantastic. He was always getting those first or second picks. So if you've got an AK in your hand as well, then you'd be very confident to kind of put him in that short position just to be able to spray down. And it's what they've needed to do a little bit earlier. I did say that their B defense wasn't that strong, but they switched it up, they kind of stacked it, and they were rewarded with their positioning.
Yeah, they absolutely were, and now we've got rifles against rifles. 2 AKs were brought into this round. They were picked up off the bodies of Reason last time, and also that AWP in the hands of Dream. So he's only had to buy his armor and a couple of grenades. Control of mid, very much in the hands of Reason right now, as they're looking towards the A side, but everybody over in Connector right now, but it's going to be Batham taking control of the situation as the shot coming out from Red Snake doesn't quite connect, but it doesn't matter because it's 3 versus 3. Even Stevens on the scoreboard right now as the push begins. The bomb is about to go down. They're still kind of looking for an opportunity to actually plant the bomb. They weren't sure if someone was about to peek them. It's going to be Connor dropping that one down, and now it's all about the retake here for Team Infused, and they really need this round on the board.
They do, and they've got 2 players. They're going to rotate round from CT here. They've got the AWP in the hands of Red Snake. If he can get an early pick, he can actually use the Molotov to try and push out one of these players into his line of sight, which is just perfect. Red Snake and Jenko flanking very effectively, and Jenko will finish it off as well on that player at lower A, and just a Molotov to his feet to finish off the round. Why not? They will get the defuse. Very important round for them, and they are back in this game.
I think that was actually his teammate that threw the molly when the call came out. It was like, quick, stop him coming in, but didn't matter. In the end, it only did 2 damage. So Jenko with the 3k going to be very happy on this one, and it's double AWP coming through now for Team Infused. They're feeling confident, they're feeling powerful, and they've got a lot of money to work with, but we are going to see now that it's now Reason kind of going for these buys that just aren't that convincing. Keita, the only one that doesn't have a rifle, but actually a whole lot of utility. It's literally only a rifle that they're missing, and the Tech 9 can easily do the same job as an AK in a lot of situations.
And this is what can happen on Mirage. Once the CTs kind of suss out where the terrorists are pushing, they start to set up a lot better. and then you start to frustrate the terrorists. So Reason just need to be careful that they don't get frustrated in the situation that they are, just be confident in their pushes, not try something too different. Like, if they're comfortable with pushing a certain area, just keep doing it, it will eventually work. Just don't be too predictable, I think, is the main thing.
Yeah, that's got to be like the key thing. But here we go. The push is going to begin. Red Snake again in that aggressive position, but he's not going to be able to get too much from it. As Roma, this round's all about him, finally gets shut down, and it's 3 versus 3. But Red Snake gets the wall bang onto Kita, and he's going to be looking for more as Reason pushing onto the side, but he's all alone. Weber's nowhere near at this stage. The flash is going to come out as Weber trying to get to his teammate, but Reason apparently doing just about fine on his own. Turns it into a 2 versus 2, and Dream does have that AWP on the site. They know exactly where Reason is, but they've got to make this happen as Jenko looks away from the flashbang and finishes off that player. Weber now arrives on the scene. He's got to make this happen for his team, and he finds the first one. Dream now with the AWP. He's got to get this shot. It's going to be down to the wire. Could be a pixel shot coming out from him as the smoke fades. Weber not quite looking at the right moment. Dream doesn't know where he is, and he's going to get caught out. Weber makes it happen, and Reason, against all odds, win a round that realistically they absolutely shouldn't have.
I love the confidence from Reason as well. They said, look, B has been working. Yes, okay, they stopped us last round, but we know what we can do. If we can drop onto that site, if we can get those important kills, then we know that our B take is much stronger than our A take. So I'm happy that they weren't kind of worried about their pushes. And now this is the kind of situation where they just need to say, look, okay, let's control mid now. Let's take and suss out this other team, see what they're going to do. And I think that speaks volumes of this game in general. Reason have just had very much control of mid, so they've really been able to dictate this game and dictate where the other team, where they're going to be pushing, kind of forcing Infused into defending certain areas, because the AWP Dream from Infused really hasn't held window very much at all, actually. He's kind of taken alternative positions. I mean, he did jump out window one round, which was kind of crazy, but he's not been doing as much as he was on Cobblestone, that's for sure.
And I like that Infused are swapping where their CTs are, because multiple times we've seen Red Snake go over on top of Van over towards B, head towards Apps. This time he's going short, and we've seen these positions kind of swapping around a little bit, so it's not just... Maybe just trying to make sure that it's not stale, you know, not like getting into bad habits, not feeling like same old, and it's going to keep everyone kind of on top of things, on top of the game. And Weber once more splitting up from his team, and this is very much the story of Weber in this squad. He's kind of like the lone wolf here for Reason, and the rest of the team all work together while Weber goes elsewhere and looks for these frags, but it's going to be all about Dream. As he misses his first shot, they push in onto ramp. The A site is going to be under siege here. Reason feeling like they're starting to get control of this area. Dream still with the AWP though. He's going to get a couple of flashes thrown his way as Lumji is looking to get onto this site. Dream does manage to find one. Red Snake and Jekko chime in, but it's going to be Connor and Weber swapping it right on back. Now 3 versus 2. It's Connor pushing very aggressively, but he will get punished immediately for that. And suddenly Weber finds himself alone, gets Jenko down, gets the second one as well. And suddenly Red Snake, he's in trouble right now. He's only got a Famis and 42 HP. He's got to find a headshot, but he's up against Weber, who's proven that he can take anyone on this map right now. But he swaps weapons at the wrong moment, and Red Snake is there to capitalize. The defuse will come in once he's done searching for weapons. And that is going to be Infused, taking another round.
Very important round as well, and I thought Weber was going to do it yet again. He's just a machine at the moment, doing so much work. I don't want to say he's carrying Reason Gaming here, but he's carrying Reason Gaming here.
I think that's fair to say, to be quite honest, considering if you take a quick glance at the scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen, 17 kills, while the next player is on 8. Weber is playing out of his mind right now. But again, it's like on Cobblestone. If Infused can figure out, like, if they can shut down Weber, then at that point they'll really start to dominate the game. And that's what we saw on the aggressive side last time. Into the second half, I thoroughly expect that to be the strategy for Infused.
I really think if Infused can kind of get 6-7 rounds off this CT side, they'll feel comfortable going into their terrorist side. They're clearly very confident as a T side, as we saw when they were on Cobblestone. And like you said, once they suss out where Weber is and start pushing to those perhaps weaker players, they might be able to have good luck. As now, Reason are going to push towards B site. Once again, Red Snake is waiting with an M4, does get the pick, but Reason will respond with the Tech-9. Dream also gets an AWP as well. 3 players down at short. Weber gets a massive kill there with the AK. We'll look towards kitchen. He is flashed though, and Dream will respond on 1 HP. And Lumji there to finish things off. Very important kill for Lumji as well, because he was only on 1 kill before that round. Now he's up to 3. Just needs to get some confidence if Infused are going to find their way back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Infused, unfortunately, not really able to get too much of a streak on the go. And you can see, obviously, they've got these kind of wins in pairs right now. But because they've been shut down on that 1 round in between, they can't build up a bank. They've had to go for those rebuys. And that could be very, very important later on in the game. But there's only 3 rounds until half-time right now. We'll see if that's going to affect things. But it's going to be all about Lumji shutting down this push. And, I mean, that's just halted straight in its tracks. Infused get a nice, easy round on the board. And Reason Gaming, now they've got to make something happen, because 1 point away from half-time right now, or 1 round away from half-time after this one. And actually, this is still looking a lot closer than it felt like it was going to. Infused have really managed to kind of get back on top of things in this match. And Reason, they're kind of scrabbling now. It feels like they're just trying to find any way to get around on the board.
Yeah, it just seems like they're not confident in their pushes. Because Infused have shut them down once or twice when they pushed towards that B site, Reason Gaming have been reluctant to push. They tried Nika around where they all just jumped out of Palace. They got punished for it. I probably would have just preferred them pushing towards B when they've had so much success. They were just trying to do something different, trying to surprise them, as Lumji will get the kill, but 2 members of Infused are down now. Dream will get into a position onto CT, but he's smoked out. As Red Snake picks up the kill with the M4 from Connector, the flashes are coming out. The bomb will go down from Reason Gaming. They now need to get in some decent out-of-plant spots, but Baith is kind of stuck on this site. He will take down Dream, though, who was trying to just jump over that smoke in a 3v2 situation now. Red Snake is towards this Connector. He does have a teammate in jungle. They just need to wait for this smoke to clear. He will throw out his own smoke to try and stop any shots coming out of Palace. They know that Batham is on site, though, so he is going to be their first target.
Certainly is, and that's going to be Roma trading 1 straight back onto Batham. He's going for the 1 versus 3, and he might be able to do it. Gets onto the site, throwing out a flashbang, and he's just going to go straight for the defuse. Reason is completely flashed, but he finds the shot in the end, and it means that he will be able to get back in this round. The bomb doesn't actually go off, so gets to keep that AK as well, and Reason turn it into an 8-6. If they can win just 1 more, they will go into the next half 9-6, which is certainly a much nicer scoreline than 8-7. But again, these games have been so close today, and I'm absolutely loving these semi-finals. Like, it feels like such well-matched teams.
I mean, I think it's what we definitely expected it. In the first semi-final, we maybe thought it was going to be a bit of a whitewash, but this one we knew was going to be close, as Dream does pick up the first bit, gets the headshot on Connor. Will get another shot onto Reason as well, but the trade is made onto Dream. Everything is just going down on this A site right now, as Jenko will pick up another kill. Tries to get the last onto Tetris, just Weber alive. We've seen this situation so many times. Weber in a 1v2 or 1v3 situation. He does have the bomb though, so he can kind of decide where he wants to push. It looks like at the moment he's going to move towards B.
Yeah, he certainly is. And obviously, nobody's going to be anywhere near in range to hear the footsteps, so they very much have to stay at this A site just in case he's selling the fake. And Red Snake, slowly but surely, I think, realizing that it is going to be towards B that the call is. Weber pushing on through. It has that AK. He's got a molly to work with as well, so he's actually feeling in a pretty comfortable position. And, you know, when you see Weber in a position like this, I almost want to say he has the advantage in a 1 versus 2. And there you go, just railing the AWPer of Team Infused.
I love the confidence from Weber, how he just jumped onto the site and said, look, if someone's going to be here, I'm going to die, but if not, I can get the plant, I can get into a decent position. Takes down the AWP. Roma only has a FAMAS to work with, so you would favour Weber in this 1v1 situation. The smoke is down, he's going to go for the ninja defuse. Does Weber know that he is defusing it? He has actually, I would have really liked if he had just held that and tried to get away with the defuse, but I don't know if he had a kit or not.
Well, I think as well, he didn't realise that Weber was going to be spraying at the time, so he was trying to tap it to get Weber to peek. Yeah. Little did he know Weber was already peeking. So, but in the end, I mean, I love this aggressive play from Dream. Does manage to get 2 kills for himself. Gets shut down, but you know, if you've managed to get the 2 kills, what does it matter? Like, you've already made an impact on that round. But Weber once more stepping up and proving that he is one of the very best players in the UK, and already on 21-8 at the end of the first half, he is going out of his mind in this game, and going to be heading into the second half of this map. 6-9 is the score. Infused at a disadvantage, but you know, we have talked about this being a CT-sided map. Reason from the terrorist side managed to get 9 rounds.
I mean, if Weber's doing that, then I don't think any map is favoured in any situation that Weber's not on that side. He's just playing out of his skin right now, and Infused really need to find a way to shut him down. I think if they suss out that he's at one of the sites, I'd expect them to start pushing the other site, but I think he knows now that they were trying to shut him out during game 1, so perhaps he will kind of change sites a lot earlier if that situation does arise. So fantastic play from Weber right now. If he can continue this, Reason may well be on their way to tying this series up 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll see if that is going to be the case here. But Infused, I think, feeling a little bit nervous on this one. Definitely not in a comfortable position, and I think they're well aware of that. You can see on their faces. I mean, head in their hands right there, and you know, the team spirit is still there. You can see them going for the fist bumps, but you can see that it's not the same Infused that we saw in that first map where they were laughing, having a good time. They knew how far ahead they were. They were feeling very, very confident, but this time, very, very different situation. And we'll see if they can kind of keep on top of their mentality and make this happen for themselves as we kick off the second half. This time, Team Infused going to be on the aggressive, looking towards this A side, but Jenko going to get shut down to kick things off. Traded straight back across though as Reason is going to fall. Connor has to rotate to the other side of the map, but there's only 2 terrorists remaining and the CTs are already here fighting from jungle. The shots aren't quite going to connect from Red Snake, and this round is not looking good. Dream has found himself all alone, and he will get shut down here. Weber gets the final shot, gets a 2K for himself as well as Batum. And Reason, that was a very, very important pistol for them to win.
Well, and a really important push there from Reason. Clearly he was confident in pushing that lower A. Infused were caught with smokes out, with flashes out. They were waiting for a time and they were going to push. I said that was what we were going to expect out of these kind of sides, for these slow calculated pushes with smokes. But Reason was able to... I have to say Reason, because obviously it sounds like I'm saying the whole team, but that individual player called Reason, he was aggressive, he took the risk, and he caught Infused with the pants down a little bit there. And yeah, like you said, a very important first round on the board. They now need to follow up, which they weren't really able to do on Cobblestone. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do with these weapons in hand.
Yeah, certainly will. Reason obviously did get tagged out there, down to just 20 HP, but still alive and kicking. With the FAMAS in hand, should be just about A-OK to get a couple of headshots for his team and make something happen. He is going to be hanging out towards his spawn, but the A site is going to be where the fight is going down. Red Snake on the offensive, going down Sandwich and looking towards Palace, but it's going to be Lumji that takes the headshot onto Keita, and now over at CT. There's a couple of members, but they're both incredibly low and will just get taken out through the boxes. Reason pushing on in with that FAMAS now, trying to make it happen, and he will find the first kill. Looking for Roma as well, who's not quite going to peek just yet, but Connor comes in from the flank, finds one, cannot get a second one as well though. And now the MP9 in the hands of Lumji. Is he going to be able to make anything happen here? I'm not sure if it's going to happen. Actually, it is the Tech 9 coming on through. Finds Weber and Reason on just 2 HP. A single bullet, a light breeze will take Reason out at this stage, and it will be the Tech 9 coming through. Lumji goes huge, 4K for him, and gets Infused back into this game.
I love how all he needed to do was tag a finger there, but he still gets the headshot of just a fantastic use with the Tech 9. And I love, even though the defuse was coming out, they were obviously tapping that defuse to try and encourage him. He was just confident, jumped out into window, went towards connector just to try and get a better position. Fantastic play from him. Really important round for Team Infused, and now they can buy up and try and put some more rounds on the board, as it does look like they are going to push towards this B site nice and fast. And it's whether they're going to be able to get onto the site as effectively as Reason were in the previous half. They are all going to drop onto site now.
Yep. Fast and dirty round coming out right now, but it's going in the favour of the CTs as a very dirty spray comes out from Dream. That could have gone very badly, but does pull it off in the end. 3 CTs remaining though, as Lumji charging on in with his Nova. It will take the head off one of those players. Keita's answers though, and Lumji now the last man remaining. The Nova more than capable of winning out these fights, especially in these close range skirmishes. But Batum trying to get out of there, narrowly dodges the bullets, sees the rubble whiz past his head as he just gets around the corner. But Lumji does get this bomb down crucially for Infused, so even if he loses now, he's still feeling alright about this situation. I want to see nice aggressive close position from him, but I'm not sure if he actually heard them coming there. I heard them coming in my headset. I'm not sure what quite was the communication going on.
He was worried someone was at short. You could, clearly by the smoke and by where he's positioning his crosshair, he was just concerned that he was going to get flanked from both sides. You do often see it, the kind of pincer effect, but two members of Reason Gaming did come through kitchen, so unfortunately he wasn't able to take that round. Nice response from Reason Gaming, and this is what we were seeing on Cobblestone, that kind of back and forth after the pistol.
Yeah, absolutely. This just trading round for round. That's kind of what I've come to expect from these two teams at this stage, because it is such a close-run game. Let's just remind ourselves that Infused are a map up in this series. And while Reason have done a good job of getting ahead here, they're only 4 rounds up, and Infused, they're still playing with that same confidence. They're still playing with that finesse. They want to take this series, and it is very clear by the way they're playing this game, but Reason are definitely not going down without a fight. They are in the lead in this game, and they've got a... I mean, to be quite honest, both sides have got a very mixed bag in terms of what weaponry they're using, and really the only advantage in this round specifically is down to the utility that Reason have got.
Well, we saw the kind of war of the Force Buys happen in Cobblestone, and Reason ended up winning after that kind of initial battle. It took until it got to the rifle rounds where Infused finally got their last round on the board to win the game, but now we are kind of seeing these weird situations of buys where you see Galils across the board, you see some AKs as Weber will pick up the first kill, as often he does. He's the standout player right now, doing absolute work for his team. 26 kills. This man is absolutely...
He's a monster.
I don't think he's a man. I think he is a machine, and he just is doing everything right now for these guys.
Yeah. It's going to be down to if he can be shut down or not. Keita does manage to find one, though, with that Mac 10. And oh, so close to getting the headshot with the scout, but it's not going to connect. And that means that Roma is now all on his own. Roma does manage to find one onto Keita. So at least punishing that aggressive play coming out from Reason. Like, kind of forcing the rebuys. But Fused, you know, still just not quite able to keep up with Reason. Reason are just consistently staying that one step ahead.
I can understand why Reason have chosen this map as their map choice as well. Their crossfire setups are just perfect. That guy on short is just kind of waiting for the call that they are pushing through connector, and then he just jumps out, surprise, and he's getting 1, maybe 2 kills. We saw 3 members of Infused pushing through connector, then suddenly being stuck because they were just being sprayed in the back. They were looking around, where we're getting shot from. By the time they turned around to short, they were already dead.
Yeah, they absolutely were now. Reason once again well ahead in terms of bank. They've got full buy coming out. They've got all of the rifles they could have dreamed about, and they've also got all that utility to work with as well. Interestingly, Reason sticking with that FAMAS. Maybe could have got a drop of a better rifle from one of his teammates, but realistically, if you're going to play a close angle anyway, FAMAS is just as good as any M4. So we'll have to wait and see if that's going to affect this round. Batham playing from boost as the push is going to come in from this terrorist side over towards this A site. And they should be able to take control of the situation. They have a huge numbers advantage, but Reason trading 1 for 1. And that's actually a good trade for these terrorists. When you only got the pistols, you want to go for those trades. And actually, they're winning out this round. But as I say that, Keita and Batham come in. Connor chimes with one as well. Red Snake now, he's got an AK for himself, but he's found himself in a 1 versus 3. Cannot get those shots down. Didn't have any armor, and the aim punch just ruins his shot.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be an answer for Infused right now. Reason Gaming just far too strong with their setups on both A and B, actually. So this is the moment where you start to panic. You don't really know. Look, we've got only 3 rounds to work with now. Where are we pushing? Are we just going to get shut down wherever we go? I'd like to see just a nice aggressive A take here, especially now they have AKs in hand as well. They got onto site well just with pistols. If they were to do the same but have those AKs in hand to try and contest these battles, then they're going to be in a better situation than they were. But it does look like they are lining up kind of a nice slow A take. Smokes will come out to smoke off jungle, smoke off CT, be able to push in and just kind of kill those sight lines.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here we go. The round is underway, and the AKs are in the hands of Infused, and with the amount of smokes that have gone down, they should be able to get onto this site, get that bomb down. That's the crucial thing, because if they lose this round and they haven't got the bomb down, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. But they do get that objective in play, so that's going to be the crucial thing for them. And now it's all about the retake from Reason Gaming. If they can make this happen, they're in a good spot. But all members still up for Infused, but as I say, that dream is going to be dropped to the floor. Batham finds the second one for himself, and he's looking for more. The Tech 9 is not going to be enough, and suddenly there's only 1 member remaining. Red Snake all on his own at ramp. And it was a 4-for-2 trade all in all. The AWP's still in play, and Reason shuts down that snake lying in the grass. He's not going to get his poison bite off today, and it is going to be 14-7. Reason running away with this one.
I love Reason's defensive approach on A site as well. They're more than happy to just kind of sit CT, sit jungle, let Reason come onto the site. Look, you do the wall of smokes, you put the plant down. Our retakes are far too effective. We can outshoot you right now, so we're more than happy for you to do that.
They certainly are, and now... I mean, what do you do if you're Infused right now, Dan? What's the call to pull yourself back into the game? I guess pushing onto Weber is not going to be it. What is going on? Weber just annihilates 3 players. And, I mean, suddenly this full rifle bite is just completely shut down, taken out of the equation, and Reason Gaming, they're not in this for fun anymore. They are shutting this down. They are pushing this to a 3rd map.
And this is what I was talking about earlier, when you get to that situation where you just really don't know what to do. So you try something just radical and maybe something ridiculous. And Weber's been kind of around that mid area all game, and he was just waiting for them. The smoke came out. It actually kind of played into his hands because he was able to get into a position up there. And that 3K is just fantastic, and he's just doing all the work for his team as per usual.
Just doing obscene things right there, but it is going to be Connor taking a kill onto Jenko and finds a second one for himself as well. Connor taking things into his own hands right now. He wants this win. He wants to win his very first LAN, and he has to take this map if he wants that to be the case. 2 terrorists remaining. They're going to push up connector. They know where he is, but there's players on either side shutting them down. Reason finds the shot and finds the game here. So another game down. It's going to be 1-1 now between Reason and Infused. Reason taking this second map, but Infused took the first. It's been neck and neck between these teams, but honestly, Reason just looked dominant on Mirage.
They really did, and that's why they chose it. That's why it's their map choice. And actually, all 4 of these teams look pretty closely contested. So, I mean, even going into the final, I just can't call who's going to win this. Now, I can't call this series. It could really go either way. I think it's just going to be looking at those players. Lumji didn't have the best of games then.
Yep.
Cobblestone, he went absolutely off. He really needs to step up once again if they're going to be able to take this.
Yeah, this was about as... I mean, the first half was incredibly close, but towards the end, in that second half, Reason just very much took control of the game. I think it was kind of nerve-wracking for Infused when, on their CT side, they ended up 9-6 down. Like, at that point, you already know that it's going to be a very, very difficult struggle to actually pull yourself back into that game.
Just looked like Infused ran out of ideas. I was expecting them to have a few more kind of takes in mind with their smokes. They tried the A-take a couple. They tried the A-take during the pistol round, and that's when they really got caught out. When Reason pushed in and got a kill with the pistol, stopping one of those important smokes or flashes coming in. And that was one of the biggest rounds for me. And a few times, Infused were trying these A-takes. It didn't really work. There was that one round where they got the smokes out, they got the plant, they got into a situation where they got to where they're after plants, but Reason were just like, yeah, look, we'll let you have the plant because our retake is far too strong for you right now.
Absolutely. I mean, so many situations. Again, this has been one of those games where just pretty much everything that's happened deserves to be on the highlight reel, because so many times we saw these players just go off the handle completely, especially Weber. Like, Weber, this was just his map, like completely and utterly. I didn't see his final score, but I know it was over a 30 bomb, and I know that no one else was above 20. So it was just simply him taking complete control.
And in Cobblestone, he was kind of shut out because the rotations were so long and he was stuck at A, but on this map, because the rotation was a little bit quicker, he was able to be wherever he was needed. And the next map is Cash, which is a little bit similar. You can kind of rotate fairly quickly if you are in the right position on the map. So he's going to be the man we're going to want to watch next round. I'm going to be expecting Lumji to step it up as well. Jenko and Red Snake, both been performing fantastic. And to be fair, actually, I don't want to count Infused out because they have been just playing out of their skin as well. I just don't think they're as good on Mirage. So.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this was map specific, considering how well Infused were doing on Cobblestone. And honestly, towards the end of Cobblestone, I actually think maybe some of that was just down to Infused kind of being like, hey, we've got this in the bag, let's just take it easy kind of thing. And, you know, in this map, it wasn't going to be the case for them, but realistically, it definitely just feels like Reason was so much more drilled on Mirage, but also just having that player of Weber on a map like Mirage, being able to go Lone Wolf and just go where you want, it's not that big of a map. You can rotate very quickly, so having a player like that in your lineup lends to this style of map very much.
Well, how many times did we see Weber on T side just pure outright win the round for them in a 1v3, a 1v2 situation. So just having someone on board that is capable of doing that is absolutely fantastic. He obviously has players around him as well that are more than capable of doing it in their own time, but just Mirage is definitely the Weber map. That's what I'm taking out of that.
Absolutely. That's what I was saying before this. I was like, I've seen Weber on Mirage before, and it is a terrifying thing, but just look at that. Just, disgusting. But either way, it is going to go the way of reason in the end. And I'm curious to see now, I believe the third map is Cash, which, you know, it's kind of renowned as almost an aim map. It's down to that mechanical skill. And yes, you can do kind of, there's a lot of takes and things, there's a lot of team play you can have on it, but it's a map that often is lent towards, you know, the more mechanical based team. So with a player like Weber, I actually kind of want to say that maybe Reason have this.
Yeah, I think Infused will kind of try and take it a little bit slower, and they will probably push towards like taking those sites with smokes. But you're very right. It's not as much of an aim map as the likes of Dust 2, but one player can completely go off just because you can rotate around that whole map so quickly on Cash. So yeah, Weber's going to be the guy we're going to be watching for sure.
Absolutely. Well, I believe we're going to head into a quick break before we head into our final map of the semi-final, where we'll discover who our grand finalists will be, who's going to be able to take on the working men later on in the evening. But from me and Dan, we're going to be saying see you later for a few minutes, and we'll be back in about 5.